Welcome back to the channel. This week's episode, we'll be repairing a Tesla Model 3 with a sharp dent right where the rear bumper meets the quarter panel. This dent has limited access from the backside as the quarter panel mounts to the rear wheelhouse. Before we begin, make sure to hit that subscribe button in the upper right corner so you don't miss new episodes every Friday. Both quarter trim panels are pulled out of the way to gain access to remove the taillight nuts. The taillights are removed so we can remove the bumper bolts underneath. The 6 lower bumper bolts are now removed. The side bumper clips and screw are removed. The wiring harness is unplugged and the bumper is now ready to be taken off the vehicle. The 2 rear bumper retainers and lower air duct are removed. Multiple interior trim pieces are now removed so we can gain access to all the right quarter trim clips. With the clips removed, the right quarter trim panel is taken out of the vehicle. The right quarter liner is now removed. The vehicle is jacked up with a jack stand placed underneath the suspension and the rear wheel is removed. A block of wood and hammer is used from the backside to start working the dent out, followed by some hammer and dolly work where there is limited access. The panel is now sanded down with a dual action sander, and a paint stripper is used to clean the remaining damage. Sprayable guy coat is now used, and the panel is blocked using 180 grit, showing the remaining low spots. The high voltage system has been disconnected and a dent puller is being used to bring up the low spots. A slapping file and chisel is now used from the backside to bring up the lower edge of the quarter panel. A grinder and dual action sander is now used to clean the repair area. Sprayable guy coat is used once more to show any more imperfections. A dent puller is used to bring up the remaining low spots. The panel is now prepped using a grinder and a paint stripper. A dual action sander is then used with 80 grit 120, and feather edged in 180 grit. The rear bumper retainers are now installed, and the rear bumper is test fit before applying filler. The repair area is masked off, and a skim coat of filler is applied. While the filler is drying, we will fix the minor repair to the rear bumper while also cleaning up some old damage for customer service. The bumper is sanded starting with 80 grit, followed by 120 and finished in 180 grit. Time to start sanding our filler with 80 grit. Powdered guide coat is now applied, and we are switching to 120 grit. The guide coat will show any imperfections in our repair area when sanding. The bumper retainers and rear bumper are now test fit. The body line is now traced out, lining it up from the quarter panel to the rear bumper cover. The body line is masked off and sanded on one side. The tape is then flipped and the repair is sanded on the other side. A final test fit shows the body line was slightly off. The body line is now retraced and resanded. A small high spot is tapped down, and a skim coat of putty is applied to the repair area. While the putty is drying, the quarter reflector is removed, the rear wheel is reinstalled, and torqued to spec. The lower rocker cover is now taken off the vehicle. The putty is now sanded starting with 120 grit. Both rear retainers are installed and the bumper is test fit. The body line is then traced out. The body line is masked off and sanded on one side. The tape is then flipped and the repair is sanded on the other side. The repair is feather edged and one final test fit is performed. The right rear door will now be taken apart for a blend panel. We will start by taking off the door trim panel. The inner and outer belt moldings are now removed, followed by the right rear door glass. The closeout panel is now removed, followed by the right rear door handle. The rear bumper and retainers are now removed, and this vehicle is ready for the paint shop. This vehicle is now ready to put back together. We will start with the end panel retainers and the air duct. .3M cavity wax is sprayed on the back side of the repair, and the interior is then put back together. Time to start assembling the rear door. The door handle will be installed, followed by the closeout panel. The door glass will now be installed, but the bolts will be tightened fully in a later step, as the door glass will be adjusted to fit the vehicle first. Time to adjust the door glass to the body. The bolts will be tightened from the inside of the vehicle. With the door glass fitting, the door trim panel is now installed. Time to reinstall the right quarter liner and the lower rocker cover. With the rear bumper back on the vehicle, all the bolts and clips are reinstalled, including the rear taillights. Thanks for watching this week's repair. Subscribe and stay tuned for new videos posted every Friday.